Hello Libra, welcome to your May 2022 reading. This is Anomaly Detected. I am starting a little late in the month. It's almost mid-month. If you'll bear with me, I am just getting back into the swing of things. It's been a year since I've posted videos, so I just started again. And I tried to start your reading a second ago. Lost connection there. Now we're back on. This is the Strength card as your catalyst card right in the center of your reading. So all in all, that is a pretty good start. I think it was in the reversal position. So you could be using your strength to maybe take some risks this month, or having to take a risk. We see this lady here in red. It's like lady in red. It's a lion in her, and she's got her hand in the lion's mouth here. I love that symbol of strength. Hand in the beast's mouth. She's taking a bit of a risk. She's calm and she's centered, and she's representing strength here with the infinity symbol right in the middle. A union I'm hearing. I am receiving transmissions. I transceive messages of all different kinds, mostly from the same entities. And I do talk about that at times. It depends on what I'm opening up about that day, kind of how I handle the dialogue and visuals that I receive. Now, I will say I have my own viewpoints, belief systems, and opinions, independent of the messages that I transceive, but I share them because I have to have a way to really manage the information downloads that I receive. And so having a tarot channel is just a creative way to do it. And that's that. I'm not qualified to give medical or legal advice. And so neither are the entities that I'm transceiving messages from. So just know that. And sometimes it can get a little weird. And sometimes it's a little bit, I'll try to censor the best that I can. If it gets ugly or nasty in any way, that's absolutely not something that I promote. And that does happen, which is really quite a topic to delve into another time. So you got strength right here as the catalyst. The number 8 is in reverse and it's crossed by Hercules. Okay, that's a lot of dialogue going on. And so Hercules is really representing strength here as well. Look at those muscles he's got, and he is in the stars as the Knight of Swords. Swords, the intellect, speech. In this particular deck, the Quantum version 2.0, Hercules is really representing more of battles that involve fighting with your words, debate. He's winning battles with his words. And I think that's fantastic. It's a good way to get things done as a non-violent manner of conflict resolution. And so I see something that's really, conflict resolution is right here crossing the strength card. Okay, hopefully nothing's impeding your strength. It could be something that you can work out with words. It is in reversal here, so it's the Hercules card. Hopefully you're not suffering any persecution and you're not persecuting others. Please be careful about that this month. These cards are in reversal, but no worries. You have available to you the even art of conflict resolution, and it looks like your speech could be a strong point for you. But it could also be a downfall if not used properly. Please respect others. I'm hearing privacy. That's a good lesson for sure. So conflict resolution, speech, to kind of to be a problem solver, really. A little bit of warriorism and using speech or writing for your warriorism, for your conflict resolution and healthy debates. Looking at something from multiple points of view is also something that seems to be a central theme in readings for a reason. And multiple point of view dialogue is often also is here along for the ride. If you're not careful, it'll take you for a ride. So that's that. Now let's look at what's going on in the conscious mind. We have, let's see, I believe this is radioactivity right in the conscious mind. This guy looks like he's got daggers coming out of his eyes. He's very intensely focused on something. So intention comes to mind. Intention experiment also comes to mind. And the number 7. Neutrality is what I think of when I see the number 7. And so be careful not to have any sharp words, or kind of like sharp tongue is what I think of. You want to make sure your speech, when used, is something that is being used in a non-violent manner. And it looks like you have that under your belt. Like, it looks like you've got some experience with that, with some kind of speech or writing, or using the intellect specifically. You could be an intellectual. Be careful about this kind of radioactive. I'm getting waste. I think I just heard waste. It was a little bit unclear, but radioactive waste. This is true, as a metaphor, of course, but unless you're actually handling radioactivity, this can be possible as well. I've seen this, especially in communities that I'm a part of, such as communities of electronic harassment. That is something that happens with technologies and weapons technologies. If you're one of those people and that's what's brought you here, great. Thank you for joining me. Then that'll sound like a message that's right at home for you. Looking at the subconscious mind, we have the Star card. This is like high octane, high energy, maybe even high bandwidth for you. It's a card of mobility. It's a card of strength. It's a card of moving forward momentum. And he's got these pillars of strength here at his aid, or her, and a trusty steed. So some kind of vehicle that is providing that's allowing that mobility, some kind of vehicle that's allowing forward momentum of a project. It could be. This is the Star card in this deck. But it's not the Star card from the major arcana. It's the minor arcana, the 6 of Wands here. So you've got something that's quite organized. In the subconscious mind, it looks like you're making some kind of progress with something. It could be light work. There's a lot of light activity here. So these pillars here that are providing some kind of guidance for you, or it could be some kind of boundaries, and I think that's wonderful. It almost looks like the horse is leaping over some of these boundaries here. So you could be leaping over obstacles, or if it's boundaries of your own, make sure that no one else is leaping or jumping over those as well. And then we see the Star up here in the left-hand corner. Okay, so lots of columns of light here. Light mechanics being an important thing for you. It's a card of light mechanics. Then we see that also right in the center with the strength card. So those pair together well. We've got 6 and 7 and 8. Okay, so now we have in the past, we've got the Magician card. It's a wonderful card. I love it. And we also have the Magician who's juggling many things here. He could be multitasking. He could also be a multi-dimensional entity, as most magicians are, as I see it. So he's got a bit of color here, and these things that he's juggling. It could be tasks. It could be tools of manifestation that he has at his aid. It could be physical objects. It could be his own power and magic that he's juggling with here. There's a little bit of ties here. It is in the reversal position. Again, intention comes to mind. Intention. You could be coming out of a space that has called for you to learn about your own intention and your own power. Selfhood is definitely. I'm hearing struggle. I'm hearing the word struggle. I'm hearing no need to know. I'm hearing return. Something's return. Return to sender, I'm hearing. Okay. So take that as you will. Take it as you will. And if it applies to you, it applies to you. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Personally, I'm someone who's had to deflect and reject incoming influence. You could have had to do that in your recent past year. You could be having to apply your strength and apply your will and apply your intention with heavy focus and concentration to cut cords, maybe even. Again, in the conscious mind, we see these swords activity. You could be having to cut through some kind of struggle. some kind of battle, and you could be having to use the intellect to do it, or even psychic force as I see it, especially with the Magician card here, who's here to manifest potential. That's a great card. Make sure that you are having everything you need and all your resources to regenerate. Regeneration is certainly important when doing things like refilling your cup of potential and making sure you have enough of it. Let's look forward into the future. And we see I was just thinking we need a little bit more water in this spread. Make sure to stay hydrated. And in the forward future here, we've got the Four of Cups. That's an interesting one. We see an unknown entity. I'm hearing us handing down a chalice from an unseen location. It could be from the sky, okay, from an unknown place, it looks like. Can we trace it back to a source? If not, we want to question, where did those communications come from? And do you know? Can you therefore trust what this communication is? If you don't know where it came from, can you ask the entity where the communication comes from? I'm hearing yes. I'm hearing down below. And this card is being handed from above. This could mean that it's of a spiritual frequency or a high vibrational frequency. A high bandwidth communication is coming up from above. It could be something divine. It could be something else. It could be something even, unfortunately, there's been some encounters with entities in the tarot community, encountering those entities that come and claim to be good intending and claim to be spiritually, I'm hearing relevant to I'm sorry, I'm going to skip that one. It's barely audible. This could be in your work life because it is the number 4, the Four of Cups here, affecting the emotion and the spirit, emotional and spiritual communications. And it's coming from a seemingly unknown or mysterious place. There's mystery around this communication here in the future, so please be careful, because you're going to want to have a firewall or filter or boundaries and barriers in place to say, what do I consent to and what don't I consent to? I'm hearing this again. I'm hearing, what do you say to the cracker who knows what his... I'm seeing a parrot. And then I almost heard like cockatoo, parakeet, cockatoo. But it looks like a parrot, actually. Okay, so that could be cracker of codes. Okay. I'm hearing it is. I'm hearing things. I'm hearing that's not pleasant. Can she say, uh-oh? I'm hearing in Spanish. Okay, so you could be someone who's multilingual. You could be someone who's having communications that are spiritual. You could be someone who's having communications with an entity that appears to be spiritual. And this is something I can absolutely warn people about. This card comes up for this. It does, and it's right on the money. Please be warned. There are entities that are something like DARPA's Voice of God technologies. Literally. I'm hearing the mystery. I'm hearing it's over. Well, no, it still can be mysterious, truly. Spiritual entities and the spirit world and spirit realm in general often have an air of mystery to them. That's why people need to be careful. Because you never know, what you're in for. This is a card of extra particles here. These particles are spilling over out of this cup. Something's a little bit too much. Something's a little too extra. That's a card of abundance, and that can be a great thing. Your cup runneth over, but with what? Do we know the contents of this? I'm hearing character. Do we know the contents of this communication? The source? Can we trust it? Ask yourself these questions. Can you put barriers and boundaries in place for yourself and say, I don't consent to X, Y, Zeta? Such as, I don't consent to communications that aren't honest, that can't tell me who they are. I don't consent to communications that are inorganic. I don't consent to communications that use sacred geometry, linguistics for artwork or domination and control. I don't consent to technologies that mask their identity from me, communicating with me. See what falls away. See what communications stay. Does it respect you? Does it respect your doctrine? Does it respect when you've laid down the law, when you've laid down those boundaries and barriers? And can you feel the disentanglement when those cords get cut or fall away? Can you feel them regrow? Just be careful. Tread lightly. Be careful. Always have a guidebook for or a code for yourself for communications. Okay, that can really help you along your way. Some people like to write a contract, a spiritual contract, a revocation of things they don't consent to, and a decree of sovereignty, and including things you do consent to, things you love. I think I almost heard the word worship. Tortoise. Tortoise in the hair has been a theme for sure. Okay. So we've got some more communications going on here. It looks like a three-way party. This is in the health position. And it looks like hopefully you're not partying too much if you're a drinker. This is the Three of Cups. This is some kind of joint effort. Could be a three-way party. I'm hearing of dialogue. And we see their faces in the stars here, which is really beautiful. Looking over these three cups, they're like the three musketeers here. So it could be literal, physical, three people in a communication. This is star cluster, and it really calls for you to do something together. If it's throw a party even, or start a project, or have some kind of three-way interaction or communication. It's like these people often, often with this card, it can be people that are have some kind of ties. I'm hearing soul. They can be closely knit together. And star cluster is like that. It's like when one star dies in the cluster, it shifts the gravity of all the other stars. They notice the absence of that star. They notice its death process. That's felt. That's interesting. Okay. So you could be called to seek out family and friends or do a bit of networking concerning your health. Especially your spiritual and emotional health, and involved in communication social health. Are you making wise decisions in your social house? That's a good one to look into. Are your communications with your doctors healthy? And it looks like it's a success, whatever this is for you. I'm seeing a lot of success, and I'm seeing the light mechanics here in this card are lighting up these cups over their faces as they're in the stars. You've got some kind of cosmic point of view here, and that could be a collective one. You could be like star-seeded. You could be light workers. You could have a collective star seed. I'm hearing agenda. You don't have to be an agenda-based being. To have a collective vision. It's a card of it reminds me of visionaries getting together and doing like a Three Musketeers activity. It's so cool. 3 is also the number of learning. You could be getting together and learning about something to do with health. You could be doing some kind of healing work together. You could be doing some kind of communication or some kind of work in communications together that could affect your health. And again, it seems like a positive effect. That's great. Let's look at wealth. All right, we've got Earth Mother, my favorite. It's the Queen of Pentacles here. It is in reverse. Your wealth and your finances, your job. Hopefully your job isn't something that negatively affects the earth. You may want to look into your carbon footprint. If you're handling things like material goods, resources can be pentacles. Is it something you're having to replenish or renew? Is it something that it comes from the harvesting of trees or any other kind of earth or rare or raw material? I'm thinking of rare earth metals and magnets at the moment for some reason. Rare earth magnets come to mind. It could be a tool for you in your wealth position. Magnetism in general. But this is the card of Earth. And we see these 2 points of light mechanics here. It could be chakras of the earth that you're looking at in your job. It could be the grid system of the earth that you're looking at in your job. The light mechanics of the earth that you're looking at with your wealth and finances. Studying the grid space might be a good idea for you. If you're a grid worker, that's good for you. I love that. There are healers out there that look at their own body and its relationship to the earth, and they see it as a grid connection, or organic one. Be careful how that relates to the technological grids is something that is coming up in healing communities. It's coming up in tech communities, and we're seeing where those two meet, and where people are having their energy harvested, where the earth is having its power harnessed by technological grids. Okay, I'm seeing a little bit of fraud come up in those areas. Be careful. This is definitely a divine feminine, a card of femininity. Earth Mother. Earth Mother is one of my favorite entities at home. See, we see a lot of green here. It is in reverse. It could be called to upright something, work on a nature project. Reservation, I'm hearing. Reservation. I'm thinking also the word preservation. Okay, so I don't know if you've ever been to an Indian reservation or have lands, sacred lands, that mean something to you, or in relation to your job. You could be working in agriculture. That makes me think of sensing technology. Okay, that's something else that I've encountered. Okay, earth surveillance is something else I've encountered. Surveillance of organic things that are, in a process of evolution of the light mechanics and again, chakra systems of the earth. This reminds me, these 2 points, of being like ovaries. So you could be looking into working with some womb chakras of the earth. And I've heard of some healers that went out and really started to work with and massage the energies there, opening up the earth's chakras and reviving those communications, reviving a communication grid. This organic of the earth is exactly what I feel like would be something that would be positive for ascension, be positive for light workers, to go and reconnect some soul ties and some biological ties to the earth, get grounded, and see if you can connect full body, your grid, to the earth's. Especially certain sites. You may be called to go to certain sites in the earth. Okay, this could be even something that brings you some kind of wealth, whether it be financial wealth. It could be spiritual wealth and growth. It could be physical wealth and growth. It could be some kind of material good. You could be harvesting something from the earth. Okay? You could be harvesting something from you, a connection that needs to be strengthened in a positive way. It could be product. I'm hearing boogers. That's very nice. It could be some kind of crop, or it could be again, agriculture, resources. You could be called to reconnect your own womb chakra to the womb chakras of the earth. That would be an interesting experiment. Really get rooted. So we see this divine feminine's face up here at the top above the earth. She's looking down, oversight, maybe called to oversee something, a project even, related to the earth, conservationalism. Okay. Go green, for sure. Emerald, let's see, it's kind of like a sea green here. The green, you could be called to do some heart chakra work. I think about the heart of the earth as well, whose Schumann resonance is at 7.83 hertz, resonating with our own hearts. You could be called to, use the center of the earth, the heart of the earth, to connect to your own heart and really get comfortable in working in that space for energetic or healing work. Absolutely. Heart work, heart regeneration, and heart space consciousness. I often see the heart as the center of my intelligence, as the center of my consciousness, that I lead with my heart, my breast, before the mind. This can often help us from having things like head-heavy density from long hours of research and cerebral activity. Make sure you think with your whole body. Make sure you store information live that way. You can really increase your entire process and awareness to the next dimension. It's interesting. Okay, health, wealth, love. I'm hearing damn it. And in the love position, we've got a tower moment here. I'm hearing coming. I was thinking coming up. I'm hearing the words coming. Take it as you will. And so tower in reverse here. Maybe overturning something or upturning something. Upheaval. It's like upheaval that's like upturned. Upturned upheaval even. That could have been upheaval, some kind of chaos, and it could have just, even that was upturned. Be the overturning of something related to legal. For some reason I'm getting overturning of like some kind of legal or law. It could be in relation to a legal matter and your love sector here, whether it be a romantic connection, if you're a divorcee, or if you're married, or if you're in some kind of relationship that's calling upon, needing to call upon the justice system to handle anything. Hopefully it's nothing like domestic violence. We do all have our tower moments. It can be a fall, a breakup. You could be falling in love with someone even. Make sure that's not causing any detriment to your health. I'm hearing her status. As a relationship guide, I'm hearing needs to be put. I'm hearing down to the crown chakra. Crown. I'm hearing never. I'm hearing never again will I do this. I'm hearing to you. I'm hearing Nat doesn't whine. I'm hearing like we. The factory worker, I'm hearing, has cut cords with me. Over, I'm hearing, a bunch of healers do this, I'm hearing. You do not need another channel. You need information on the run, I'm hearing. I'm hearing this